Hey, you remember those pirates who showed up and wanted to drink beer at Apollo Creed's town? And then he and Mando shot him. And then, Mando and Grogu got into a dogfight with them and their pirate ship and all that. Well, they came back. It took them a while, but they decided, hey, we've got this big starship. Why don't we just go threaten the town with it? And that's just what they did. So Apollo Creed, boy, he surely saw this coming and decided, man, oh man, if I got to have some defensive measures put in place. No, he didn't have any. So he decided to call the Republic, even though he decided, we don't want to be a part of no Republic. We're our own deal. So you can't really call the police when you're not paying the taxes for it. Old X-Wing pilot decided, hey, you know what? I need to help out. And he's talking to what looked like the creature that was originally supposed to be the Chewie character in one of the original concepts of Star Wars. Although, no, I think he was supposed to be Han Solo as an alien. Yeah, that type of thing. Anyway, it's kind of what it looked like in it. But so he hops in he tries to make a phone call to Coruscant, but oh boy, all lines are busy at the moment. So he hops in his X-Wing and heads over there. And what's her name? You know, the Imperial agent who fooled the idiot doctor in the previous episode. Oh boy, she overhears this and tries to run interference about this. So it would seem that the pirates have some sort of involvement with the Empire. Oh my goodness, probably outsourced some services through those guys. But he decides, can't get a squadron, it's too far afield, and it's not worth the trouble. So he decides to go talk to the Mandalorians. And since Din Djarin feels like he owes the guy, Apollo Creed, of course, he decides, hey, you know what, if we go over there and help him, and he said, hey, you can have a plot of land out here. And they need a new home because the planet they're on, it's got giant monsters on it. It keeps eating their kids. Yeah, you might want to relocate. So that's the deal. They go to save Apollo Creed's place. And but Apollo Creed, boy, his plan wasn't much. He decided, hey, we got to evacuate. And so they went and hid in the desert. And then he's like, citizens of, I forget the name of the town. He's addressing them. Don't worry, there's help on the way. I called in a favor and made a phone call. But at the time, some of the framing shots worked okay, especially when the village was being attacked and all that, to make it look like, oh man, it's a lot of people. Although they should have, as soon as they saw the ship hovering over, they let's pack our stuff and get out. But no, they waited until the laser bolts were flying everywhere. So, but when they get outside and they're in the desert hiding and whatnot, there's about maybe 30 of them. That's it. With other framing shots, it makes it look like it's a lot of people living there, but it's like, this is a lot of trouble just for, I don't know, a campsite, basically. So anyway, of course, the Mandalorians show up and, they show off their skills as probably the galaxy's best special forces, forces, and they make short work, for the most part, of the pirates. Some of them get a few shots in, and then they have their big cannon, but then the armor shows up somehow behind them. They didn't notice her coming in, and she beats them with her tools. And that's it. They won the town, but then the starship decides, after being decoyed by Din Djarin and Bo-Katan in their ships, they decide, hey, let's just burn the city down. And then Bo-Katan and Din Djarin blow up the starship. Yeah. And that's the end of Captain Boogerhead. He's done. But his underling, who really doesn't like Din Djarin, he escaped. So he'll probably show up with Moff Gideon, because they kept dropping hey, Moff Gideon never made it to the courthouse. What happened? Might want to look into that. Well, that X-Wing pilot, he looks into it, and he finds the transport ship that Moff Gideon was in. to go wherever to await trial, I guess. And it's all shot up and the crew's dead. And then he notices evidence of Mandalorians. Oh, there must be some evil Mandalorians. Oh, boy. But it was a cool setup and scene where he's exploring the ship with his probe and stuff. But, yeah, that's about all there is to that. But there, it's more proof that, hey, something's afoot. And then, Bo-Katan, after all of that, even more proved herself quite the leader. So the armor is all impressed, so it has a private meeting with her and tells her, take that helmet off. She's like, it's okay, I'm the chief, you can do it. So she does and says, hey, I always thought the mythosaur was a myth, but since you told me you saw one, that means you're the chosen one, and you got to go and bring back all the other Mandalorians so we can retake Mandalore. She's like, all right. So there's the deal, so that's what she's going to do. But wait a minute. She shared that little information in the previous episode, saying, hey, I saw the creature. It's in the living waters and all that. And the armor just kind of blew it off, and says, well, you think you saw it, or you had a vision, your epiphany or whatever. And yet now she's like, that's a sign that you're the I don't know. She needed to see her do one more good deed before she decided, you know what? That's it. She's the chosen one, I don't know. Of course, the real reason is they wanted Katie Sackhoff to take the helmet off because it's Katie Sackhoff and you want to see her, So anyway, that's her deal. I don't know if that's the pause of her story at the moment, with the mystery and intrigue of what the Empire's up to continue. Of course, it's not the Empire. You know where it goes. You know what they're doing. That's right. They're building the First Order. Yeah. So you can hurry up and try to prop up the sequel trilogy, which you can't do. You can't. Even if your plot, easily better than what they did, you can't just decorate it with these shows around the edges so that you can move on to future stories beyond the sequel trilogy, which involves the rise of the Second Order. Why not? So that's what it looks like. There were some good fight scenes and dogfight scenes, but for the most part, this just is a rather weak season. The only thing going is Bo-Katan's story, which is fine, but it's left alone amongst a bunch of stuff. And Din Djarin's supposed to be the star of the show, and, well, he's just sort of there. When he's there, more times than not, he's not, And plus, he goes on this dangerous mission, and he decides to bring his baby with him. Shouldn't he have been left back at home? Well, of course, they're all moving to the planet. Yeah. Boy, couldn't they have landed somewhere? Well, So I guess he just had to keep the baby with him, Then again, perhaps Grogu was using the Force to give him an edge against the odds for the battle with Captain Boogerhead. Well, anyway, there you go. And so far, pretty lackluster season. That's sad.